Welcome to the Jerry Graves channel. It's a channel that talks about narcissists. I want to go ahead and jump straight into the topic, but first, I want to make sure you leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. Let's jump into it. This video is going to be kind of a review on how to deal with people that try to pick on you. I know it sounds weird for an adult to talk about that type of stuff, but that's the reason why we talk about it, because nobody does, and it still happens. And the world is kind of made that way. It's kind of, you don't get picked on the way you would as a kid, where it's just like straight in your face. But nowadays it's people trying to make you feel anxious and just basically just not doing what they're supposed to do. Like, they're always trying to make people feel anxious. You know, everywhere you go, like, people are trying to leave you hanging and make you, just every little thing that happens, anything that happens that's slightly out of the norm, it takes you a second to find your wallet, like your card, for a second, and everybody's like, it's like a weird atmosphere every single time. Nobody acts like it's normal, even though they see it 1,000 times. You know, situations like that, people see it 1,000 times, but instead of just acting normal, they act all, awkward. And it's specifically to, like, control you. And so I was at the bookstore earlier, and I noticed that it's really empty, which is smart. I probably should stay out of it, because as you can imagine, if everybody's kind of thumbing through books, like, that would be a place where you get COVID. So I made a mental note not to go there until this COVID stuff is over. But then I seen these two younger people. They're in their 20s. One of them was talking really loud on the phone or whatever, and he's like, I guess, asking somebody about some item he was looking for. And I'm just looking through, I'm looking, at the books, and I always have it inside of me. Like, I always know, like, I expect now for somebody to do something to make me feel awkward for some reason. Like, I've gotten to that point where I feel like I'm used to that, and I think it's a good thing. I expect stuff like that to happen now, So this dude, he gets off the phone, and I'm looking through the books, and he just says something about my sweater, like my hoodie. He's like, "Hey, that's a nice hoodie." And I'm like, okay, or thanks or something. Can't remember exactly what I said. I can't even remember if he specifically said that's a nice hoodie. But the hoodie I'm wearing is like just some normal freaking black hoodie. I think I got it from Goodwill. Like, it's just like completely not a hoodie that you would normally get a compliment for, or you're trying to stand out with. It's a solid color, one little logo on the chest of it that's really small. It's like just the most plain hoodie that you can get. So he's complimenting me on that in a sarcastic way, like to diss my hoodie. And I'm like, I'm 31, I'm not a little kid where it's kind of like I care about people complimenting or dissing my clothes anymore. You know what I'm saying? Just in general, that's amateur. As soon as he said that, I felt like, okay, this guy's an amateur. I could tell that he was trying to mess with me. And I'm like, this is weird. But he, just for somebody to, like, just get your stuff and go. Like, what are you doing, So anyway, he says that, and I say okay or thanks or whatever. And then he goes, "Is that an original?" Like, he says it in a sarcastic way. And I just said, "Yeah." And then he got nervous and left, you know what I'm saying? And it was kind of like he was expecting me not to know that he was about to fuck with me. And that's what I want to talk about. Like, people expect I'm going to say something out of the norm, and you're going to get nervous because you weren't expecting that. Like, it's a surprise attack, and their whole goal is to make you anxious, and if they're with their friend, to kind of laugh at it as they leave. That's what young people do. "Oh man, that's awesome," and I'm like, yeah. And I just kind of went on. I said it as if I was expecting it, because I always expect stuff like this to happen. Not that it always happens. It normally doesn't happen. It doesn't happen everywhere I go, but I expect it to happen because I'm a pro. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, this guy, you can't. So, long story short, like I said, he got nervous because he was trying to mess with me. And I'm trying to analyze the situation to get a point across here. he came in there and he was trying to impress his friend. And just in general, if we really want to break down the situation, when young people are out, and especially right now, like I said, it's empty. It's empty in this Barnes and Noble that I'm in, right? And so them being out on the town, they're trying to find things that are entertaining. They're trying to make their day fun. We're out. And they're especially bored because nobody else is out. It's a Saturday. Normally there's going to be a lot of people at Barnes and Noble, but there's nobody there. So now he's trying to entertain himself and entertain his friend, And I'm a professional. I'm a professional at this now, and I'm starting to see more and more that I'm coming into situations and having the upper hand in situations like this. I have the upper hand now. Before it was like I didn't know what to expect, but now like I come through situations and I have the upper hand, like without a doubt. If it's going to be something like this, like I'm not bragging like being a super powerful person. I can get my way everywhere, but people can't really just mess with me. They can't do it because, for one, they can't surprise me because I'm expecting it. So now I'm surprising him without even trying. I'm just like, yeah. And he's surprised that I'm ready. So now he's surprised. And then the fact that what I like to do when people mess with me is I shorten up my responses. It's like chess. Like if you're playing speed chess, you don't take a lot of time to think just because it gives your opponent a time to think. You know what I'm saying? So now he's thinking of his next response to try to make it funny or whatever. So I just cut the time down. Like, oh, yeah, one word answers. One word answers. And this is something that everybody understands. But it's like it's cool to get it out in plain English so that you can have more control over it, and you can do this every time. You can repeat it once you can verbalize it and you put it out in the words. Like now you can do this every time. Like if somebody messes with you, you cut down. It's one word answers. You leave them hanging, so now he's left hanging. So he's surprised that I'm not surprised, and now he's being left hanging. And there's an expectation, there's beats to the conversation where he's supposed to, if you're going to be messing with somebody, you're supposed to fill in that beat. You're supposed to keep up. But he can't keep up because I've responded short and sweet, and I'm not caught off guard. And so people get nervous when they can't feel the beat of the conversation. They can't have something to say on time. They're like, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, hey, let's go. He wanted to get out of there. So he started trying to make me nervous, and he ends up nervous. And it was something I've been thinking about because I do this to a lot of people without even trying. Like I do this without even trying a lot of times. So now I'm like kind of thinking about it where I see people do this and they end up being the one that's embarrassed or nervous and not me. And then, yeah, I just wanted to put it out there like and talk about it. That's kind of how I'm doing it. And also I'm not afraid to be embarrassed. Like I'm not afraid of an awkward moment. Like I said, my philosophy is feel those awkward moments, feel them fully, so if it's going to be awkward, then I'll just feel awkward. I'll feel it, so I'm not going to run away. See, other people are trained to run away when they feel uncomfortable. And also people like this, they don't have any character. I'm trying to build character. I treat people the right way because I want to have that type of character. It makes you stronger. But like people that are trying to find cheap ways to get a laugh, they're the same people that when things get tough, they're going to find an easy exit. They do the easy thing, finding easy targets, so as soon as it gets tough, oh, let me run. Let me get out of here. No, not me. I'm not running nowhere. I'll take it. I'll take the awkwardness. I'll take the whatever you're going to call me. I'll take it. I'm not worried about that. So even if I didn't get them nervous by being short and sweet, they're still going to, feel the difference between me and somebody else because I'm not running. I'm not afraid of being awkward. I'm not afraid of looking weird. I'm not afraid of none of that. So I'm just sitting here waiting. What's your next response? What's next? And usually they get out of there. And I've been getting that response a lot of times, like people going on the run, and that's the power of not being afraid of being awkward and not being afraid of being in a weird situation, But also, he was right about one thing. I did have a cool hoodie, But it wasn't because I had any logos up there or because there was a certain association. It was because I got it on.